Writers, gone. Conceptual artists, done. Animators, finished. At the start of the year, I had this crazy idea. Would it be possible to create 400 characters for an anime franchise in 1 week? And sadly, the answer was no. Turns out you need upwards of 625 days, or you'd need a budget north of $64,500 if you wanted to hire professionals to do it. Luckily for me, I was still mental enough to want to try and do it, and well, I couldn't get it done in 7 days, but I finished within 100 hours, and only for the cost of my prepaid Artlist Envato and Adobe subscriptions. If you wait to the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit about how I did it, but until then, I present to you my 100-hour anime franchise.
In the midst of the great void of the cosmos, there float two worlds, Osdior, a small but bountiful planet, and Armeed, a vast and troubled realm. Both are bound by ancient magic and are home to many different civilizations. It is said that the people of Armeed once turned their back on the rightful gods, and as punishment, the god of the Celestial Order cursed them with a great blight and scarcity of resources. All of the riches of Armeed were siphoned off to Osdior, leaving the people of Armeed to struggle and fight for survival. In response to their dire plight, the people of Armeed formed factions, each seeking its own path to prosperity. The Celestial Order, who dwelled on Osdior, inspired such animosity. The others united in an attempt to destroy the planet Osdior entirely. Using a combination of elemental magic, science, and otherworldly spiritual forces, the factions brought forth a multitude of asteroids, aiming to crash them into Osdior. As the impact seemed inevitable, each faction fought desperately to save itself from the fallout, praying, casting spells, and using technology in a desperate effort to avoid disaster. But just as the asteroids were about to strike the planet, an unknown force froze them in place, sparing both worlds. The Celestial Order claimed that it was the doing of their divine deity, and warned that if the people of Armeed did not submit, they would use the asteroid to destroy their planet instead. It was said that a new epoch would begin, in which Osdior would prosper for 1,000 years, while Armeed slowly replenished itself. For a millennium, Osdior and Armeed have been ruled by the Celestial Order, but now, in the year AU 1111, the Order has grown weak. Their once mighty armies have dwindled, and their magical powers have begun to fade. At this crisis point, the 5 key council members of the ruling faction have been assassinated, leaving the world's government uncontested and vulnerable to the schemes of ambitious upstarts. The Celestial Order, once the undisputed rulers of the world, now find themselves on the brink of collapse. Without strong leadership, the once mighty empire has begun to crumble, and it seems as though their divinely ordained rule may be coming to an end. The already strained relationship between the Celestial Order and the other 7 factions has now broken down completely. Each group desires to lead Osdior, Armeed, and the Outer Worlds in a new direction. As the foundations of the world tremble, and the once great Celestial Order teeters on the brink of collapse, all eyes turn to the horizon, wondering who will arise to claim the mantle of leadership. The outcome remains shrouded in uncertainty, and only the passage of time will reveal the shape of the future. This is the Celestial Rebellion, a quest for a new world order. The Inheritors of the Void are a diverse and powerful faction, united by their belief in the balance between the worlds of the living and the dead. The members of this faction come from many different backgrounds, but they all share a deep understanding of the mysteries of the universe. The House of the Ascended are a tribe of elves with extraordinary magical abilities who live in a verdant forest. They exchanged a magical relic to protect their home against the Great Blight, but now are determined to win it back. The House of the Dead are a sinister vampiric race, feared for their mastery of blood magic. They were granted eternal life, but at the cost of exposure to sunlight. After 1,000 years, their immortality has worn off, but their deadly reaction to light hasn't. The House of the Plane is a group of beings who can control the minds of others through their dreams and live in the astral plane. They are peaceful, wise, and skilled in the art of hypnosis. They use their powers to help those lost in the astral plane and to defend against malevolent beings. The House of the Eternal are skilled in the art of ritual magic, using ancient and powerful spells to call upon the spirits of the deceased in times of need. They live in underground caves. They must keep their true identities hidden to avoid being targeted by those who fear and resent their power. The House of the Tome are powerful witches and warlocks who reside in a great library filled with ancient and enchanted tomes of magic. When confronted with the Great Blight, several of their tomes were stolen, causing their magic to weaken. They have since joined forces with the Inheritors of the Void in order to rediscover their ancient wisdom. The Vitality Matrix is a faction of humans, elves, gnomes, and artificial intelligences, united by their belief in the power of science and technology. They are driven by a desire to advance and improve the world through their knowledge and expertise. The House of the Century are cyberpunk elves who turn their back on magic and instead turn to technological prowess to build monumental cities, advanced transportation systems, and sophisticated weapons of war. The House of the Emerald are robots created by the House of the Century. Over time, they developed sentience and consciousness, which led to the forming of their own culture and values. They now reside in the former forest home of the House of the Century, where they seek to redefine their life's purpose. The House of the Encrypted is a group of holographic entities created by the House of the Century to explore and interact with the internet. They have since developed the ability to think and reason for themselves and have formed their own communities that can manifest in the real world as well as the virtual. The House of the Rising is a group of engineers, pilots, and explorers who have a reputation for their creativity and resourcefulness. They are known for building the first spaceships in Armeed and developing new technologies to help them navigate the vastness of space. The House of the Tinkering is made up of skilled engineers who specialize in steampunk engineering. They are known for their ability to create impressive inventions and contraptions, and are particularly renowned for their work on airships. With their airship network connecting far-reaching parts of the globe, their expertise in engineering is highly respected. The Relics of Oblivion is a faction of humans united by their belief in magic and the mastery of the elements. They are devout followers of the eternal gods and seek to hone their powers in order to honor and serve their deities. The House of the Solar is a tribe of fire elementalists with a long history and a strong connection to the elements of fire. They believe that their attunement to fire is the closest to the source of creation and have used their powers to protect their people and land, as well as to assert their dominance over other tribes. The House of the Crystal was once a respected faction known for their mastery of ice magic, which they used to preserve food during the long drought. However, the faction has declined in recent times, with many of their magic users losing their passion for their craft. Many have had to adapt their magic for combat and are struggling with low morale. The House of the Torrent is a faction of water-based magic users who live in floating cities and are known for their advanced technology and influential role in trade and logistics. Together with the House of the Tinkering, they have created a sprawling metropolis connected by a network of waterways. The House of the Canyon is a faction of people with a natural affinity for earth magic. They are skilled in the art of moving earth and stone, and are renowned for their incredible abilities as natural architects. They developed intricate and complex designs and used their powers to create some of the most impressive buildings in the world. The House of the Static is a faction of electric mages who chose to live in a winter climate. They are known for their mastery over electricity and are able to harness its power to protect themselves from the cold. Many have sought to capitalize on their ability, and many have been shot to death in the process. The Gilded are a powerful alliance that control the Armedian economy. They're led by the House of the Coin. The Gilded are a capitalistic organization, and its members are driven by a desire for wealth and power. The House of the Shadow are a secretive and mysterious race, known for their incredible skill and deadly precision. They are assassins for hire, and are feared and respected by many throughout Armeed, and are often sought out by the houses of the Gilded as private protection. The House of the Merchants are a hardy group of people, known for their resourcefulness and ability to solve any logistical problems that come their way. They travel across Armeed, trading goods and services and helping the global economy stay afloat. They have developed strong relationships with other factions, and they're able to broker deals and agreements that help everyone involved. The House of the Coin was a prominent and influential faction within the Armedian civilization, known for its wealth and control over the economy. As high society bankers, they were able to accumulate vast amounts of wealth and power, allowing them to exert significant influence over the society. The House of the Assassin was a prestigious and secretive institution, known for producing the most deadly assassins in the world. Located in a hidden valley deep within the mountains, these students of death were trained in the art of assassination. They acquired the skills and techniques necessary to carry out their deadly missions with precision and efficiency. The House of the Commune was a faction known for its godless religion and its powerful magical abilities. Despite their reputation as holy men and women, it is said this house works as a propaganda machine to divert the poorest in society away from the richest, although not everyone is fooled by the House of the Coin's machinations. The Guiltless Pact is an alliance of 5 strong warrior houses. Their influence spans the globe, and together they hold the biggest army on Armeed. The House of the Fearless is an all-female faction within the Armedian civilization, made up of fierce and powerful barbarians. These former slaves rebelled against their masters and vowed never to submit to evil men again. They now empower women to stand up against their would-be oppressors. The House of the Focused is a fierce and honorable society of desert warriors. From the southern lands of Armeed, these armored knights are renowned for their ability to fight with strength and precision in the searing heat. The House of the Frozen live in the icy tundra of the north. These hardened warriors are masters of winter warfare and can survive in the harsh wilderness. They were led away from the Great Blight by Obin the Seeker, who helped develop a new way of life in lands with minimal resources. The House of the Honored reside in the eastern lands of Armeed. Their tactics and technical ability with the sword makes their fights resemble a choreographed dance of death. The beauty and precision of their combat is the stuff of legends, and their enemies still tremble at the mere mention of their name. The House of the Iron Fist is more than just a group of soldiers. They were a brotherhood, bound together by their fierce loyalty to one another and their unshakable code of honor. They stand tall and unyielding, a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield, and a beacon of hope in times of darkness. The Oracles of Armeed are united by a common belief that their world, Armeed, is the only true world, and that the planet Hosdior is a parasitic intruder that has stolen resources from their own. In pursuit of restoring balance, they seek the destruction of Hosdior and the return of what has been taken. The House of the Druid is a tribe of magical elves who reside in their forest sanctuaries. They have a deep connection with the planet Armeed and see themselves as the protectors of the forest. The House of the Shaman is a tribe of desert-dwelling nomads who believe that the planet Armeed is a sentient being seeking revenge against another faction known as the Celestial Order. They hold powerful magical rituals in their volcanic temples and communicate with the planet through visions and hallucinations. The House of the Revenant is a coalition of undead beings who have escaped the grip of death. They provide a place of refuge for the undead. Though they are shrouded in secrecy, the House of the Revenant is whispered about in hushed tones, with many wondering what secrets they keep and what power they wield. The House of the Lasting is a faction of wood-dwelling elves who are closely allied with the House of the Druid. They abstain from using magic, focusing instead on honing their physical abilities and mastery of the sword. They too see themselves as the guardians of the forests. The House of the Healing is a tribe of mermaids who reside in the sunken city of Atlantis. They have a deep connection to water and are skilled in the art of magical healing. They are known for their peaceful nature and their desire to avoid conflict. The Seekers of Libertas are a faction who value freedom above all else. They believe in the right to live without oppression and to pursue their goals unhindered. They are dedicated to the cause of freedom and will do whatever it takes to defend and protect it. The House of the Artist was formed by rebels who rejected traditional religious beliefs and instead believed in the power of inner strength and artistic expression. They saw no conflicts between martial discipline and artistic creativity and believed that both pursuits required focus and dedication. The House of the Black Flag are a group of skilled and daring pirates who came together to form a powerful fleet of ships. They were united by their love of freedom, risk and adventure, and were willing to take on any target that presented an opportunity for plunder. The House of the Foundation are activists and revolutionaries who have formed an underground network of freedom fighters. They work to attack the foundations of capitalism and power indirectly. They are a covert and shadowy force, dedicated to bringing down the oppressors and bringing about a better world. The House of the Viking are warriors who are driven by a desire for adventure and a thirst for battle. They see the world as a place full of opportunity and danger, and they also see Osdior as the Valhalla of the mortal realm and wish to take it for themselves. The House of the Musician was founded by a group of skilled bards who are masters of music and sound. They travel the land, performing for audiences and using their music to boost morale and inspire hope. In the process, they have gained the ability to make even the coldest of hearts feel warmth. The Celestial Order was formed by the House of the Traveller when tensions between Osdior and Armeed grew. Those who aligned themselves with this powerful house were granted gifts from the celestial gods that greatly increased their strength and abilities. The House of the Truth are known for their skill in negotiation and mediation, and were trusted by the Armedian and Osdiorian civilizations to handle disputes. One of their gifts from the celestial gods was the power to bend time and space, preventing large conflicts from arising in the first place. The House of the Dragon, a formidable clan, known for their expertise in air warfare. Their mastery of dragons and other flying beasts made them the perfect coalition partners to protect the skies of Osdior from any would-be trespassers. And their tactical prowess is renowned throughout the realm. The House of the Seraphim are angels of a former Armedian religion who lost favor when other factions arose. Their power required the people's belief, and they quickly became weak without it. In their final hour, they were offered augmentations to increase their strength, so long as they joined the Celestial Order's alliance.
The House of the Enlightened are obsessed with uncovering the secrets of the universe. They are driven by a desire to understand the patterns and connections that govern the world, and they use their unique abilities to see into the past and predict the future. And finally, the House of the Traveller is a mysterious and ancient race that evolved on Osdior. Once discovered, they quickly began to emulate Armedian society, eventually forming into more humanoid beings. They gained favour with 4 prominent houses, and one strong enough went on the offensive, casting the Great Blight upon Armeed.
And here's how the project came together. First, I wrote a synopsis. I knew I wanted it to be a blend of fantasy and sci-fi with a visual representation of capitalist greed. Osdior, which funnily enough I named after my brother's King Charles Spaniel Aussie, would represent the crowning factions and would be the 1% of this fictitious world. Armeed, on the other hand, would reflect the 99%, and that's also why it's much bigger. I then decided who I wanted the 8 factions to be, what their core values and interests were, and then did the same again for the 40 houses. Once I had all of that together, I asked ChatGPT if it could take these bullet points and turn them into a short story for me. It would write, I would tweak it, I'd then get GPT to ask me some questions about the deeper motivations for those houses. We'd keep refining them, going back and forth until I felt like I had something solid. The house names were supposed to be a placeholder, but I was so worried about missing the deadline for this that I ended up keeping them the same. And then finally, I asked ChatGPT to summarise everything we'd created together so each faction and house would fit into a short paragraph. The entirety of the ideation process and writing was finished within about 15 hours. Next, I tried to channel my inner Jorah moment for the voiceover. It very quickly devolved into Peter Baelish by the end as my voice began to strain, but I felt like a bloody idiot doing it as well, I can tell you that. Oh yeah, and you'd think that working as a professional in the creative industry, I'd have got the audio perfect the first time, but I somehow managed to clip the audio in several places and I didn't realise until my voice was completely broken. But luckily for me, Adobe Audition was clever enough to fix the clipping audio in 2 button presses, meaning that the total time for the voiceover and edit was about 4 hours. Now, the digital illustrations were the scary part. I needed over 400 characters and about 200 additional images for the video. And that's where Stable Diffusion and Automatic 1111 come into play. Now, before anyone gets upset about AI art generators, you need to go watch this video by Shadiversity, which covers all the common misconceptions about the tech in a clear and easy to understand 3-minute video. But in short, Automatic 1111 is an open source AI art generator that's free to use. You can load in a variety of models to get varying styles of art. I came across an anime focused one called Anything version 3, which came with a lovely license that said it was completely legal and fine to use. There were a couple of other anime art generators in the space, Halara AI and novelai being the biggest, but again, they're both behind a paywall, and I wanted to keep costs down for this. So I got to generating images, and very quickly it became apparent that I'd take a lot of tweaking to get the characters to look how I wanted. This AI model is really bad with hands and, to be fair, eyes. Oh yeah, and it produces a lot of suggestive images as well, to say the least, so it took a lot of refining, photoshopping image to image to fix it. I had a very distinctive look and colour palette in mind for each of the factions and houses during the creation process. It felt like the AI was taking the role of the artist and I was communicating as an art director, helping it with the required amendments. In terms of the production hierarchy, the relationship very much felt like a creative lead working with a team of creatives underneath them. And because of this, I had 600 visual assets created within 45 hours and it cost me nothing, which is mental. Then, moving on to the arduous task of animating. Traditionally, it would require a motion designer to go into Photoshop, cut out the characters from the backgrounds, restore the backgrounds to a degree, take the asset into After Effects, then rig and animate them with the puppet pin tool. Luckily, I found an app called Capcut, which somehow did all of this for you in seconds. Now, there was a lot of janky animations, and to be fair, there still are, but I was so determined to hit the 100-hour mark that I only tweaked a couple of them to fix it. And then, instead of getting fancy with the titles, I decided to use a Envato Market template. I believe that took the motion side to about 20 hours. And finally, the editing. This has been the majority of my day job for the last half decade, so I was always going to do this part myself. It was mostly arranging the assets, adding in sound effects, sourcing some music and doing a bit of compositing work as well. I say in total that was about 16 hours, and that wrapped the project. It's kind of crazy to think how much is actually possible now. I'm just one person. Imagine a whole studio who can leverage this technology. I mean, give it a couple of years and you're probably going to see indie devs output AAA quality games. And I was once told that media is a rich person's game. Don't bother with the big ideas unless you have financial backing. Art and film are for the affluent, not the poor. I'd like to think that with a little bit of persistence and creativity, even the most disadvantaged in society will be able to make something really cool with all the free tools that are starting to become available. And that's the stance I'm taking on it. Technological progress doesn't have to be the death of an industry. If we actually adapt and evolve with it, we'll be able to get projects made much, much quicker and at an even greater scale. And that's really exciting to me, and I hope it is for you too. So thanks for watching. If you are a creative worker like me now trying to figure out your place in the world, let us know how you're adapting in the comments. Are you terrified? Are you already seeing new opportunities? I'd love to know. Anyway, I have rambled on far too long, so I'm ending the video.